Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy that you decided to stop by and click on this video. Today I have a more laid back video. It is a get to know me Q&A. I figured it's a really good video to just have on the channel just so that you guys can get to know me a bit better. And so let's get started. So the first question is, what is your middle name? Obviously, you guys, if you've clicked on my channel, you know that my first name is Becca. Over the years, most of the people that know me, my best friends, close family, they call me Becca. It's short, it's cute, it's sweet, and so that's what people tend to call me most of the times. Rebecca is my first name, but people call me Becca. Last name is Nimulasiri. My middle name, it's Sarah. So Rebecca Sarah Nimulasiri is my full name. Not many people expect it considering I am brown, not trying to stereotype anyone. People just don't expect it. My full name is Rebecca Sarah Nimulasiri, but you guys can call me Becca. Question number 2. What is something interesting that most people do not know about you? It's quite a long story, but something that most people don't know about me is that I speak 2 languages aside from English, so technically 3 languages. I speak Sinhalese. I am Sri Lankan. Should have started with that probably. I am from Sri Lanka. I'm Sri Lankan American. I grew up in the United States my entire life. I did live in Sri Lanka for the first 7 years of my life. I do speak the language fluently. I'm a bit rusty now because I don't get to practice it as much, but when I do go to Sri Lanka, I pick it up right away. I love speaking different languages. It's definitely a passion of mine. Just being able to just communicate in a different language, I think is just so cool. If I do get to practice it, it is either with my brother, my family, or my stepdad, or whoever is within my inner circle. And then the other language that I speak is Russian. That is quite a bit of a story. I was initially dating someone who is Ukrainian, and so we were together for a very long time. I was always immersed in the Ukrainian culture and the language, and the primary language that they spoke was Russian. So I learned and picked up a few words here and there, but currently where I work, which is primarily a Ukrainian doctor's office, the primary language that they speak is Russian, so I started to pick up more words, more sentences, so I started to get a lot better at it. I speak, in total, I guess I'm trilingual. I speak English, I speak Sinhalese, and I speak Russian. If you guys want a little example of me speaking in Sinhalese and Russian. So in Sinhalese, maybe I'll ask "Como doyada?" means "How are you today?" In Russian, I can say "Здравствуйте, меня зовут Rebecca, как дела?" That's "Hi, my name is Rebecca, how are you doing?" Let me know if you guys are interested in me speaking in different languages on the channel. I think that would be so fun. Moving on to, what is your best trait? I feel like I can confidently say what my best trait is now because of everything that I've gone through over the past few years and the train wreck of experiences, to the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. I'm really, really proud of my mindset. That's something that I will speak about throughout this channel. Also, I might make a separate video regarding it as well and how I cultivated that mindset. I'm really proud of the fact that I'm able to pick up the positive very quickly in any sort of dynamic or experience. So whether it's a bad day, whether it's a bad situation, whether it's a bad circumstance, if something bad happens, I'm able to turn that around and see it in a more positive way. And I've been in that sort of mindset has been ingrained in me for a long time, especially growing up with my mom. She's very much see things in a more positive light, try not to take everything to heart, just be very, very easygoing. And I'm an Aries as well. Fun fact, my birthday is April 16th. Sometimes it's really hard for me to take things easy. I'm a very, very headstrong, go-getter, ambitious person, and so for me, I've needed to cultivate that skill over time. The more I've gone through, the more I've had to reinforce that positive mindset. And I'm not just talking about not being realistic in a sense, but just being able to not allow negativity to impact you, I feel like is a really, really imperative skill to utilize and implement into your life. And so my best trait would be that, my mindset, and to be able to think in a very positive way. Next question is, how would you rate your childhood on a scale of 1 to 10? If I'm being transparent and honest, as I will always be on this channel. I would say it's both good and bad. So I want to say a 6 because it definitely was not bad. I feel like my parents, if you caught in the previous question, I do have a stepdad, but my biological dad is no longer in the picture. He stopped being in our lives at the age of like 16. It is what it is. I mean, like, he made the choices that he made in his life and he has a brand new life now. I would say life was particularly challenging, but not to the extent of where like I couldn't embrace the good. So I'm the oldest in my family. I do have a brother who's 2 years and 9 months younger than me, and then I also have a stepsister as well. But my stepsister wasn't really, my stepdad or my stepsister didn't really get into the picture until about like 10-15 years ago or so. But prior to that, it was just me, my mom, my brother, and my biological dad. And so I feel like me being the oldest, I bared a lot of the responsibility, and I was always the person that needed to be independent. I felt like from the get-go, I always needed to step in as a sort of like mature, independent person. I have experienced trauma in my life as well. I mean, who hasn't? But I feel like through that trauma, that desire and need to feel more independent was kind of ingrained into me even more. I feel like those experiences kind of took away from my ability to feel like a child, because I always had to be put into this sort of mature role, as well as like I feel like I kind of raised my brother as well, simply because my mom had to work all the time. Like, that was just the reality of the situation. I'm definitely not wealthy. We were predominantly middle class growing up. I mean, times were tough, you know what I mean? Like, I would never take that experience away from myself simply because I am the person that I am today because of my experiences. If you were to ask me, like, would I ever change that? No, I would not. To answer the question of, like, how would I rate my childhood from a scale of 1 to 10, I would say those particular instances did impact my ability to feel like a child. But then in the positive note, my parents gave me everything. I never felt like, although we were middle class, like, I never felt like I was lacking in any way, shape, or form. My mom and dad gave us everything, me and my brother, everything that we could possibly ask for. I remember when the first iPod came out, we got it as gifts. I don't know, I just felt like we really weren't lacking. But yeah, if I were to rate my childhood from a scale of 1 to 10, it would be a 6. Borderline 7, 6, 7. Next question, do you have any siblings? So like I had said before, I have a brother who's younger than me, 2 years and 9 months younger than me. His name is Martin Nimilasiri. He's so cool. He's such a chill guy. He's so, you know, it's funny because he's technically my younger brother, but sometimes I feel like he's older, and so I tend to look up to him in that sense as well. And he's just a he has a really beautiful mind. He has such a good way of thinking. He's the most kind-hearted person that I know. He will give the shirt off his back to anyone. Hopefully he'll be featured on the channel at some point. I think that would be really fun and cool. And then my other sibling is my stepsister Sneha. We call her Kukuni for short, as like a little nickname that as soon as she came into our family, she adopted that name. And so yeah, my stepsister Sneha and my brother Martin are my 2 siblings. And then I have 3 cousins as well that are all boys, and technically they feel like my brothers as well. Their names are Nathan, Brian, and Niven. And so they're also really cool as well. They don't know that I'm making this channel, so it's a little nerve-wracking, but maybe I'll send them this video and they'll be a little surprised over the weekend, so we shall see. Oh my god. Next question. What was your first job? It's so funny because I just went to the drive-thru the other night to pick up a coffee, and then I was like, oh my god, this is where I work. So I worked at Dunkin' Donuts as my first job. I was 14 years old. I had my, what do you call it, the working papers. So like they issue working papers when you're in high school in the US if you want to start working prior to, I think, 17 or 18 years old. So you can work at a young age. And so me being me, I've always been so headstrong, so independent, so ambitious. And so I was, at any given point, I always wanted to just earn for myself. And so the moment I can get my own job, I was like, done. And so at age 14, at the time my biological dad worked at Dunkin' Donuts as well. So I was like, okay, lit, I'm gonna work for you. I still remember that day. I wore khaki pants, Converses, the Dunkin' Donuts shirt, and the Dunkin' Donuts hat. I worked at 6 a.m. so I had to be at work by 6 a.m. left work at 2 p.m. It was just so intense. Like, I remember just people can be not the nicest people, especially in the morning. And so just acclimating to new people, trying to understand the workflow and how to interact with not only coworkers, but interact with like a busy sort of day. I think working at a fast food place when you're young teaches you so many skills if you're willing to learn. And I think everyone should try it at some point. It doesn't have to be longevity wise, like a very long time you're working, but just like a couple of months just to understand and retain certain skills. But yeah, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts as my first job. Next question is, do you have any bad habits? Okay, I guess like for me, I feel like the bad habit that I'm currently working on right now is just stop making excuses for myself and just be more disciplined in terms of like working out and holding myself accountable. I've been really shit this past few days, just not going to the gym. My nutrition hasn't really been top notch. I've just been falling into a kind of laziness, so to speak. And so I really just want to get back into it. Today, I'm definitely going to the gym. I'm hitting legs and then just really getting back on my nutrition and working out consistently. And so what I want to establish this year primarily is to work out more consistently, stay on a routine, and really achieve the body goal that I want by May. So yeah, bad habit is just working on being more disciplined. Next question. How long was your longest relationship? Oh, this is gonna be juicy. I don't know how much I'm gonna share regarding this. So I was in a long-term relationship for almost 8.5 to 9 years, nearly a decade of my life. I met this person when I was about 18 years old. I am turning 29 in April, so just you do the math. I was with him for quite a long time. That was really my only relationship that like I would consider like a serious relationship. I was seeing people here and there before I met him, but he was like my primary like real serious relationship. Unfortunately, it didn't work out towards the end of like the eight and a half year mark, simply because like we grew as individuals. We didn't align with what we wanted in life and where we wanted to go. We just wanted different things, and so we grew apart. It didn't work out. It is what it is, so people move on, things happen. But yeah, my longest relationship was about 8.5 to 9 years. Next, second to last question is, what is the first item on your bucket list? Ooh, okay, so I don't have like an official bucket list like on my phone or whatever. Maybe I probably should make one. So my first solo trip was Utah. So I went to Utah about 2 years ago, 2.5, maybe almost 3 years ago now. I went to Utah by myself. It was the first time I ever flew by myself. I did not travel around Utah by myself, but that was the first time I ever traveled alone to a place on my own. I was terrified. I literally remember my ex dropped me off at the airport. I stepped out of the car. He pulled out my luggage and I was like, where the fuck do I go? I was like, I had no clue what the steps were. I didn't understand that you had to check in your luggage first, that you had to go through TSA, and then after TSA you had to find your gate. Like, I was completely clueless. And so somehow, just by putting yourself in that uncomfortable position, I asked people questions. I was like, bro, can you take me where I need to go? Or like, can you show me where I need to go, point me in the right direction? And people were so nice about it, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be surprised at how helpful people would be if you just put yourself out there. It's not as scary as you think. And so that was my first solo trip. So ever since I experienced that trip, I've had this desire to want to just do a full trip on my own. So from traveling to a specific place to then just seeing the area and experiencing it on my own and for a specific amount of time. Really wanting to do this trip. So I've been really thinking about booking a flight to Hawaii. Oh my god. I'm getting so excited even just like thinking about it. What I really want to do is book a flight to Hawaii, rent out an Airbnb for maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks at most, renting a car and flying to Hawaii, staying there on my own, just getting acclimated to the area or like multiple areas and just traveling and exploring Hawaii. And I think that is something I've been single for almost like, I think it's almost 3, no, maybe like 2 years, I want to say I've been single now for the most part. I just really like being alone. And I feel like there will probably come a time where, yes, I will organically meet someone, and that's great. I just don't think it's that time now. I really just want to enjoy the time that you have for yourself. And I feel like so many people rush into getting into a relationship so quickly because they're afraid of spending time alone with themselves. And I feel like that is the most crucial time that you have to figure out who you are and what you want in your life. If you were to have asked me even prior to the breakup, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? That is a question that terrified me. I would not be able to even answer these questions had I not gone through what I went through and just had time to really reflect on myself and what it is that I want and what it is that I really want to pursue in my life, like what my goals are. I think just cherishing time alone should not be scary to people. And I understand the fear of it, and I understand like the scariness of it, but there's such a joy in just coming into yourself and just understanding who you are as a person and being confident in that. And so I feel like solo trips are a really great way of just like figuring yourself out very quickly. It puts you in a situation that you have to put yourself first. You have to figure out how to navigate certain things, how to go about asking questions, reaching out to people, just putting yourself out there. And so I feel like it's such a good learning skill and a situation that causes you to learn far more. I feel like the Hawaii trip would be so cool in terms of content creation. Like, I will absolutely film the entire thing and take you guys along with me in my experience. I feel like that would be so fun. So comment below if you're interested in that, because I've really been thinking about it, and I feel like I don't know if I want to make it happen this year or next year, but it's something that I'm definitely thinking about. So yeah, solo trip to Hawaii on my own, flying there, booking an Airbnb, and just traveling across Hawaii. I think that would be so fucking dope. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. So the last question is, what are your life goals? Life goals. I feel like first and foremost, I know that I want to be a business owner. I feel like for me and my personality, and just after working in the current position that I work at, I know that this is going to be the very last job that I have that I work under someone. I've made a promise to myself about that, and I intend to keep that promise. I know that the next step for me is to be a business owner. I don't know whether it's going to be the current business that I work for, or whether it's going to be a brand new business, whichever the case may be. I'm not limiting myself. And I've come to that conclusion through so much trials and tribulations. I've been told my entire life that get a steady, stable, safe job, get benefits, make sure that you are secure in that sense. And I understand the logic behind it, but I feel like it's so limiting to a certain degree, because for me and my personality, I always want to attain a sense of autonomy and a sense of self. And I feel like that's really hard to do when you have a boss or someone that's barking down your throat and micromanaging you every 5 seconds. And so for me, I know how I operate, how I work, and my desire to be creative and the longing to just have a sense of autonomy in my work and my schedule and my life. And I do not want my 9 to 5 to run me. And so that is one of the goals that I've set for myself. That's one of the goals. My other life goal, I guess if you were to like break it down, career-wise, I want to be a business owner. Physically, like my physical goal in terms of like my body, I want to be the healthiest and the fittest that I've ever been in my entire life. I feel like I'm well on my way to achieving that goal, especially this year, but it's still a work in progress. It's choosing myself every day. It's constantly making every small choice that I make contributes to that long-term goal of achieving a healthy and fit body and my dream body. I do not want to look like someone else. I want to look like my healthiest and best self. Whatever that may look like is what I want to achieve. I also want to continue to improve my cardiovascular endurance, because I feel like it's one thing to just have muscle on your body, but to be able to run and to just have your heart be healthy as well, that's something that I really care about also. So yeah, so just physically I want to look and feel my best self, and so that's one of my goals for this year as well as long-term life goal. Mentally, lastly, I definitely want to continue to learn and improve my overall mental health. And so I feel like I'm doing that on a daily basis as well. Again, you guys know, like, YouTube has done so much for me. I feel like YouTube I've leaned on as a crutch. YouTube has been such an incredible resource to just find inspiration and constantly feel like you're not alone. And there's so many different videos, so many inspirational videos, so many like YouTubers that do such an amazing job at just inspiring people. And I hope that my videos do the same, or at least they will. That's one of my goals as well, is to just have a really successful YouTube channel. Not for the sake of just having a successful YouTube channel, but I feel like if people can learn from my story and through what I'm saying and through how I step into this world, I feel like if that can change one person's life, done. That makes my heart so happy. And so yeah, that's some of my life goals. So I want to be a business owner. I want to run my own business one day. I intend to be the healthiest and the fittest I've ever been. That's both a life goal, but also a short-term goal that I feel that I can achieve this year. My mental health, I want to continue to improve lifelong wise, through constantly just like learning, reading, growing, watching videos about how to further improve yourself. I think I will definitely grow as an individual, both inside and out. So those are the top 3 goals that I have for myself, both life-wise but also short-term wise. And that concludes the video, you guys. I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into who I am as a person. And I would love to get to know you guys a bit more as well. I am slowly growing, which is so freaking cool. And so if you could like to comment a little bit about who you are and just introduce yourself, that would be so awesome. That way I could get to know you guys a little bit better. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you enjoyed this sort of content, please subscribe. I will be creating more and more videos every Sunday. If I have a little bit more time, maybe even an additional video throughout the week. Please give this video a like. Subscribe if you enjoy this content. If you look forward to these videos, then just turn on the notification bell. I will see you in the next video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have an amazing week. Bye!